Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex Mason, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday, presented by QTS. So today's webinar, What is Microsoft Teams and Why Should I Care, is going to be recorded. So we ask that you please do hold all questions until the end. If you are having any trouble hearing the audio portion of the webinar, here are the access codes, the webinar ID, and the dial-in line. So a little bit about QTS. Who are we? We are the 2012 and 2013 New York Metro Partner of the Year. We're also the 2016 New Jersey Partner of the Year. We have a dedicated focus to quality and reliability in everything that we do. So now I'd like to introduce our presenter, Marty Triunfo, our collaboration practice lead. He's got over 20 years of experience, and he's responsible for our SharePoint, OneDrive, Yammer, Teams, and it's some additional projects as well, but I'll let him speak to that. So Marty, take it away.
Thank you, Alexandra. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending today's webcast. The topic is Microsoft Teams, and just want to make sure that I have control here of the presentation. Just see. Bear with me 1 second, please. There we are. Thanks. Just took me a moment. I have a short slide deck. And then we'll jump over into some demonstration of Microsoft Teams. So here are the topics for today. We did a brief introduction. I'll talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams, show you some screenshots, highlight some of the important features, and then we'll go into demo. And as Alex said, we'll have our questions at the end. I'm sure I'll reserve a little time for that at the end, and then some wrap up after we're done. Okay, so what is Microsoft Teams? Teams is a new service that is now part of Office 365. It is a persistent chat-based communications kind of workspace. Brings people, conversations, files, and tools together in one place. It was released for preview in November, and it's now available in about 180 countries, being previewed by over 30,000 different organizations, and expecting to be generally available, meaning it's a supported part of your Office 365 subscriptions, by the end of first quarter. So looking at March for the general release. But if you have an Office 365 subscription, you can begin to try out Teams now. Okay, so when people hear chat or instant messaging, especially in the Office 365 and Microsoft space, they think about Skype for Business. So where does Teams fit relative to Skype? Well, Teams fulfills a need that many companies have been asking for, which is persistent IM or persistent chat. So the ability for individuals and groups of people to have IM style conversations, meaning very immediate real-time refresh and conversation, but that is persistent and is available after the fact, so that you can go back and review the conversations that have been had. So it does fill a kind of a separate requirement from just regular Skype. However, Teams is leveraging Skype for all of its chat conversations, so it's using the same kind of plumbing underneath to facilitate that. But you get the ability to see discussions and other content like files, etc., at any time, even after a particular chat or meeting has ended. Team chats can be visible to the entire team, or you can have private chats as well. for smaller group conversations, and all those can be set up by administrators. So two main concepts within Microsoft Teams, the idea of the team and then of a channel. And we can think of the team as a hub for a collection of conversations around a set of topics. So you might have a marketing team, you might have a development team, you might have a sales team, and within each of those you can set up conversations or channels so that you can have kind of sub-conversations within each team. The chats are threaded, so easy to follow, and are laid out to flow from top to bottom, so the newest conversations are coming in at the bottom. And users can be notified when updates are made into a particular channel or conversation that they are a member of. And I'll show you in the demonstration, I'll show you how you can control a lot of the notifications that you receive. So why would Teams, Microsoft Teams be important? Well, Microsoft feels that it's really its number one benefit, aside from the particular features that are included in Teams, is its integration with Office 365, which means it's supported by the existing Azure Active Directory and security model that supports all the other Office 365 services. So you can immediately take advantage of those when creating teams and setting up permissions. That's a real benefit, is to have that available. In addition, you get easy access to those other services, and some of the stuff I'll show you shortly will be around from Teams getting to other Office 365 services. I've got a couple of examples listed there: SharePoint, OneNote, and as I said before, Skype, the ability to jump in and out of Skype meetings and sessions very easily. What you're seeing there up on that screenshot there, that's an integration of Microsoft Planner, which is another new service that was recently slipstreamed into Office 365 for enterprise subscriptions. Another example of the integration that I'm talking about is within Teams you have a files area, and within when you're reviewing files, a file with team members, you can review a file right within the Teams workspace. So that screenshot there is just showing an example of a Word document. Maybe it's a marketing brochure or documentation, and on the right-hand side is a chat session taking place around that document amongst members of that team. And I'll give you a brief demo of how you can, I'll show you that, and then I'll show you how you would can jump into a co-authoring kind of collaborative editing environment very easily, again, because of that integration with the Office 365 Word web application. And as I mentioned earlier, you get, with Teams, you get the enterprise security and compliance of Office 365, knowing that data is encrypted both at rest and in transit. You also have within Office 365 for all the applications, you have optional multi-factor authentication so that you can require users to have more than just a single password for their sign-on. I should mention that too, that when you start up Microsoft Teams, it does take advantage of single sign-on capability, so it's using the users, essentially their Windows sign-on, to access, and you shouldn't require a second login prompt to get to Teams, similar to how you would get to SharePoint or when you start up Outlook to reach your email. You're not prompted again. And one thing that's very important to all users today with the applications that they choose is mobility. So like with the other Office 365 services, Microsoft Teams is fully mobile ready. You see some screenshots there of different Teams contexts being displayed on mobile devices. So on the left-hand side is the ability to have a chat session. In the center there is an actual conversation, and then on the right-hand side is showing you some of the fun stuff you can put into Teams conversations, but all being displayed on a mobile device, and being in terms of responsive design, they scale down and fit the mobile device. These mobile apps can be downloaded today. They're all available for iOS, Android, and Windows smartphones. I don't think I have in the slide deck, but I can make available some links to allow you to easily download those after the webcast. Okay, and this slide just tries to call out a number of the features that are built into Microsoft Teams. And I've mentioned a couple already, but we'll just run through the list, and I'll be able to show you some in the demonstration, and others maybe will just create interest so that you'll want to try Teams for yourself. But the threaded conversations that we talked about, having the ability to, in addition to conversations, but you can also have immediate chat sessions, which are kind of a side channel or side conversation to the ones that are shown within the conversation pane, and I'll show you that. Relying on full Skype integration, the ability to quickly jump in and out of a video or voice conference if you choose, again leveraging Skype. We mentioned team chats and private discussions. The inline animated GIFs, that's one of the fun things you can put in there. Bots, I'm going to show you a little bit about bots. Teams comes with a number of bots available, and bots are essentially kind of automated assistants. They are like participants in a conversation, but they're kind of programmed to help team members. And I'll show you the one that's that everyone will want to use, called TBot, which is the help bot that's built into Teams. The teams themselves can be customized, so you create different channels. You can customize some of the behaviors and the content areas within each team, so fully customizable. I'm going to show you how to create tabs for different types of content. Also, there's third-party integrations. One of the powerful features of Teams is what's called connectors. So if you have third-party cloud services like Salesforce or GitHub, MailChimp, you can create connectors within a team conversation to kind of feed in content from those other external services, and that's those are anything that comes in through one of those services would be also rendered in your notifications page, so you'd learn about that new content coming in from the third party. A nice thing that's built in is called an @mention. I'll show you how that works, kind of very much like a kind of Twitter type function, where you can mention somebody and then they get a notification that they've been mentioned or followed or liked. So keeping the kind of social collaboration aspect very visible to everyone. Let's just see what else. Conversation search. I'll show you how to do search across not only conversations but people and files. So you can easily use one search term and get back different types of content. And customizable alerts, that goes to some of the notifications I'll show you, and I mentioned the multi-factor authentication. Okay, so let's see if I can successfully switch over from Alex's machine to my machine, and we'll try and jump into a demo here. Okay. I think you should be able to see my screen. I don't actually have that visible here. Maybe Alex can just give me a thumbs up that my screen is visible.
Yes, you're visible.
Thank you. Um, okay, so let's see here. That's what I wanted. All right, so the first thing I'll mention is just to kind of set the stage here. I have open two instances of Microsoft Teams, and I'm going to drag one over to the side there. And I only want to mention this so that you understand what you have available. So in the foreground here, this is the MS Teams desktop app, which I would encourage you when you do try out Teams to have your pilot users download the desktop app. In that I think it gives a better experience, slightly better experience in terms of performance. It also has one key feature that's available now for video meetings that's not in the browser version, which you can see that I have right behind here. I'm going to pull that up to the front. And you'll notice that they both look pretty much identical in terms of the user experience. I have navigation on the left and then a main conversation right in the main part of the page. But I think there are some advantages to the desktop app. To get to the browser app, once you've provisioned Teams in your environment, it's really very simple. All you would do is if I go to a new tab here, you just type in teams.microsoft.com, and if I hadn't logged in yet, it might prompt me for a login there, but you can see it just starts right in a browser. It starts up my Teams experience, and I get to see the Teams that I'm a member of. So know that there is a browser version of Teams that's ready to go, and the desktop version just requires a download, and then you can install it on your machine. And I suggest that you give that a try. But I'll be doing the demo today within the desktop version. So let me just bring that back to the foreground again. So there we have that. So that's the desktop app. I do also have on a different monitor, I've got a browser version open, and I'm actually logged in as a different identity on that one so that I can try and demonstrate some of the kind of interactive qualities of using Teams and not just do the demo portion as just myself. So we'll see how that goes shortly. All right, so a quick overview of what you're looking at. I do have, let's see, we'll start on the left-hand side. So you can see my identity again. I'm logged in as my normal company identity, and I have a number of items here in this ribbon section. I'm going to just walk quickly down through them, and then I'll try and show you some features around each of them, but I just want to get you a sense of what you're looking at. So if I go to activity, activity is important because this is where I would be notified of things that are taking place that may affect me, where either I had a post that was liked, someone mentioned my name, or I was being followed, etc. So these notifications are right here in this left-hand pane right there. And you can see I've got a couple of notifications by this individual, MT. That's my admin account. And then I've got, if I go to recent, I've got some other additional things that were recent events or posts to me that were made here. So I've got this notifications area is an important thing to be aware of. And if I get a new notification, I'll see a little indicator right there over the bell that there are multiple or one notification for me to review. If I go down to chat, go down here to chat. This is where, as I said earlier, you have not only the conversations within Teams, you also have the ability to have direct chats with other users, and again leveraging Skype. And you'll see those. You can see those chats here, and you can see I've got two recent chats that have taken place. So here's one with again, forget this name. This is my other alter ego, my admin identity, and I had a chat there. So you can have chats that you can return to later on to see the conversation itself that you had, which was maybe more of a one-on-one or a small group chat that's not part of the larger team conversation. So keep that in mind, that chat is kind of built in as a separate channel, if you will. Here is, I'll mention this since I am here right now. So this is TBot, and TBot is where you can ask questions. It's one of the built-in bots for Teams. So if I ask a question like, how do I search? You can see my question comes here, and then here TBot now just provided an answer for me, and gives me some instruction around doing searches. And you can ask that for a number of different, how do I upload files? And there's some, again, some instructional type information. So one of so this is built in, and one of the neat things about bots is that there's an API available to customize and create your own bots. So if you have industry-specific or type information that you'd like to make available to a team, you can create your own bots that can be available to a team members just in the same way here, where they type in natural language questions and they get back answers. In addition, this particular bot, you can see I have some tabs along the top here, and so I can go to the actual content that is available in the bot, and I can see that if I'm the type of user that rather than ask a question, I'd like to browse for maybe topics, I can do that right here in this tab, and you can see I just can expand and collapse those. In addition, you can have an FAQ tab if you want to include some video links as part of your bot's kind of content. You can do that as well. So here you see there's some videos that I can launch, and these are all contained within the TBot that's available and built into Microsoft Teams. All right, and I'm going to click down on in the left-hand side. I'm going to click on the Teams icon here, and now you'll see that I've actually got, let's just collapse that there. So what you see here now is I've got 3 teams created, and then in the main portion of the page, this is the actual the team conversations itself, and it happens to be that the last team I was in was Microsoft Teams 101. It's one of the teams we set up for customers as part of our quick start. We give them kind of a collection of information that new users can go to, and a place to go for new users to go to ask questions directly of other team members. So I was in there, and that's why that's showing last. But if I go to, for example, internal network, it expands, and you can see I've got now channels. So within QTS, if we've got some topics we want to discuss around our network, we can create channels for those, and then have conversations take place within each of those topic areas. So I'm clicking on each one. And you can see some of the conversations that are there. If I go back to general for a moment, you'll see I can very easily add more people to the team, create more channels. If I have administrative access, I can do that, or I can just post. Here's a new conversation. I can just post that right there. So to navigate through your teams again, you just expand and then click on the actual channel to see the conversations within that channel. If I go to Microsoft Teams here, there's only one channel here, it's a general channel, and you can see there's some conversation taking place there. I'll come back here in a moment. We'll have a little two-way conversation with the other identity I've got running. If I click on meetings, so now this is again another one of the important integrations of Microsoft Teams. So I click on meetings, and what I see here in this left pane is most of these meetings that you see here are coming right out of my Outlook calendar. So it's using the integration with my Office 365 Exchange mailbox to display meetings, and you can see that. Let's just see here. I'm not sure where the webcast is, but there's a call I've got coming up at 3 o'clock. But I also have the ability to schedule dedicated Microsoft Teams meetings. You can see that down here. I can schedule a meeting, and that's actually separate from my from the meetings that are coming in from my Outlook calendar. And I can invite people here that are part of anyone in Azure AD, but also can maybe part of this team or not. And then I can just schedule that meeting. And here you see an example of that one. So here's a meeting that's scheduled for later today, and it's a Microsoft Teams meeting. And let me just see if I can show you. Yep, I'll do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag over. Okay, so right there, I've just laid in front this is my Outlook Today screen for my Outlook Rich client, and you can see here's that collection of meetings, and here's that last one. This is what I wanted to highlight. So a meeting that was scheduled, say, for me by someone else within MS Teams is going to be visible not only within Teams, but it also feeds back into it goes actually into my Outlook calendar as well. So you can see that right here, meeting demo for MS Teams, 6:30. And so you have kind of consistency and uniformity around where the meeting's being scheduled and how they're showing up. This was often one of the, I have a lot of experience with SharePoint and SharePoint calendars and meetings you might schedule, and SharePoint don't do that. And we often had to build in some customizations to make that happen. And that, if you don't do those, then it reduces the value of those SharePoint calendars. So here with Microsoft Teams, you get that right out of the box, where things that are being scheduled in Teams are synchronized right back to your Outlook calendar as well. And then I'll click on the files in the ribbon here, and again, highlighting some of the integrations that you get built into Microsoft Teams. So this is showing me, again, for my identity, this is showing documents, files that I have worked on or collaborated on, kind of basically recent files, and you can see they go back, some go back a month or two. This is coming out of Microsoft Delve, and Delve is another Office 365 service that is kind of spans across all of the different service platforms and is aware of activity, what files I'm updating in my OneDrive, what files I'm updating in SharePoint sites, and what files I may update within Microsoft Teams. And so it's collecting them back here so that I can review them. So again, this is what I've been looking at and working on. So it's specific to me. I also have some navigation here. I can just filter through those. I can say, well, just show me Microsoft Teams. And if I click on that, it's going to be now just showing me the files that have been uploaded into Microsoft Teams that I've either worked on or actually uploaded myself. So it's just within Teams. I can see my OneDrive. So there's my OneDrive for Business folders and files that are there, and I could probably just let's just do that real quick. So what I just did was I brought forward a browser session, which is going to our SharePoint Online site, and I'm just going to quickly open up my OneDrive. Okay, and like I did earlier with my Exchange calendar, I'm going to drag that over so you can see that. So within the context of Microsoft Teams, it has access to my OneDrive, so you can see those folders and files there. And here they are natively in the OneDrive browser session, same exact collection. And so again, leveraging some of that integration that you get by using the Teams persistent chat workspace along with all the other Office 365 services. Let me just minimize that. And also I have a downloads button, and you can see here I can go here, and this is showing my local. Just bring that open. It opened up a Windows Explorer window, and this is my local downloads folder. So that can be useful as well, where you can easily get access to downloads on your machine. Let's close that. All right, so let's. I'm going to go back to to chat right now. Let's go back to chat, and what I'm going to do on my other session here. Let me just see if I can start a quick chat here. So I just did a quick chat with MT admin and see if he's respond here. Let's go back to chat. Okay, so you can see I got a response right back from the other identity, which is admin. And what I'm going to also do there is all right, so we'll just all right, so just reply back, and what we're going to do now is we're going to switch over to one of the team conversations. So we're going to leave the private chat we were having, and I'm going to click over to Teams. All right, so I just posted, you can see right here, right there. Let's continue the conversation. I posted that from MT admin. So you can see the refresh time, just pretty much immediate. And I'm also going to try a one of the mentions here. Okay, so this may seem like I'm kind of taking a little bit of a long road to get here, but I want to make sure that you you see some of the built-in social and collaborative features that are here. So MT admin just did an mention of me in his post, and you can see that it's then highlighted there. Right, so he mentioned me in that post. And I also had, if I look at activity, I get a notification here that indicates that I was mentioned in a post. And the way you would do that, I'll do it right here so you can see it. Here is how I can add mention. So I started typing Alex's name. So there's Alexandria, and I can just choose her name in a conversation post. And so Alex may, if she had Teams up and running, she would get, similar to what I did, she would get some activity notification here indicating that she had been mentioned in a conversation. All right, let's go back to, we're still in the general channel of MS Teams 101. And one of the things that I want to bring out here is along the top of each channel. So here I've got 3 channels: licensing, general, or 2 channels, licensing and general. Each one has their own collection of tabs that can be added. So this is where we mentioned earlier you can customize each of the teams and channels. So in this one here for MS Teams, we've got 4 different tabs along the top, and I want to just talk about what's in the kinds of content you can have in each of those tabs. So the primary one for each channel is to have the conversation itself, which you're seeing here that we're trying to demo. In addition, though, you can have files. So for this particular channel, in the general channel of the MS Teams 101 team, I have some files that I've uploaded right here. And you can get files in here in a number of different ways. Of course, you can see I can choose upload, which would allow me to pick using a browsing dialog. I can do new, and then it would let me just start a new document if I wanted to, or I can very easily just do drag and drop. So, for example, I can just take a file here that I have in Windows Explorer, and just drag it right in. So there you see I've just very easily edited a file. And it's if you're familiar with SharePoint, this is how SharePoint works as well, where you can upload files into libraries, you can create new ones, or you can just drag and drop. And what you should know is that these files are actually stored in SharePoint. When you create a team, there's a new site collection that's provisioned in SharePoint for that team. So these files are actually stored in a SharePoint document library. So that same behavior is essentially what you're leveraging the SharePoint drag and drop. If I go to, let's just click on Notes. This is, again, integration. We've got built-in OneNote online. So if you have users that like using OneNote, they can leverage that here. And similar to like other OneNotes, you can create pages and sections within your OneNote as well. But that's built into all teams. And then right here, if I click on SharePoint, again, leveraging the integration with the other services, this is actually a SharePoint library called Checklists that's in a completely different, it's in its own separate SharePoint site that you can bring into your Teams experience, and that's very easy to do. If I click on the plus key, the plus button right there, I'll do that again. If I click on plus, I'm adding a new tab to this particular channel, the general channel, and so the tab can be dedicated to any one of these content types. You can see I even, as in the screenshot I showed earlier, you can have a Power BI tab that is linked to a Power BI service. What I did was I clicked on SharePoint, and I can choose a link to paste in there, and then I get direct access like this right to a SharePoint library. So no need to jump over into a browser, into a browser session and access the files there. I can get them, I can bring relevant files or a link to the relevant files right into my Teams experience, so I don't have to have to duplicate files if I don't want to. Okay, let me just go back to the files again. So I've only got a couple more things I'm going to show you, and then we'll open it up for some questions. So here in, again, in my MS Teams 101 team, the general channel, I'm in the file section, and I can click on a document. And I'm now able to, I'm in a Word doc viewer that's built into Teams, and you can see that I'm looking at the document now. I have some controls up here. I could choose to edit the document. I can close it. I can also start a little chat session here with multiple users where we can review this document if we wanted to. If I choose to edit the document, if I edit in Word Online, and I may not actually go through the whole co-authoring demo for the purpose of time, but now that I'm actually editing the document, I can easily share the document and essentially invite, again, I'll use Alex as an example here. I could invite Alex to kind of co-author in real time the document with me very easily from here, and as we are both making changes, those changes are getting saved back automatically into the document and into the files section of the Teams channel. So some very nice integration there, again with Word Web App, which is the browser version of Word. And if I was done with my changes, I just close the tab, and I'm back to my Teams experience. Okay, so let me quickly jump over. Last couple of things I'll show you. If I go to, well, I can actually be anywhere at this point. I'm going to click in the search box, and I'm just going to show you how the search functions. I'm going to put in the word sample. So you can see that, if again, confine what we're looking at to this column here. I put in sample as my keyword or phrase, and now I've got messages, people, and files. So you can see here that I've got the word sample was found in 2 different teams and 2 different channels. So here the first one is in the MS Teams 101 general, and the second one was in a different team altogether where the word sample was used. So you can quickly search across all the different teams and channels. For people, I have no people results that match that. Let me just see if I can just use admin. Oh, we got a lot of people back. This is coming out of our, again, Azure Active Directory, so you can see all the different people that are there that match that. We'll go back to do sample again. And if I look at files, well, it also, in doing that one search for sample, not only did it find messages, but it also found the sample document, the one we had that was in this library. It's right there. So powerful search across conversations, users, and also the files that are in all the different teams and channels. One thing to mention here is the security within the teams. I'm using my identity. I essentially have access to all the teams, but each of these teams that we have created, you can have members, and the members can be limited so that you may not have access to a particular team, which means you're not going to get access to those files if you're doing the search. So there is a way to, through the team security, there's a way to partition who can see what. And if I go look here, my view team, you can see the team for sales support, fairly small team. If I go to the MS Teams 101, which was for everybody, you can see there's a larger team available here. So each of these teams that you create, you decide who you want to invite and who will be members of the team. One more thing to show you, if we look down in the lower left of the Teams user interface, I've got a settings control. The one main thing to talk about here is notifications. I'm going to click that, and you can see I get a dialog around what notifications, what do I want to be notified of, and how would I like to be notified. So you can see that personal mentions, like I talked about earlier, if someone does an @Marty Triunfo, I would get a notification that I've been mentioned. But you can choose how you want to receive the notification. I can choose not to receive notification. I can receive it in the banner only, which is that left-hand section, or I can see it in the banner, but also maybe get an email notification if I want to be notified. So you would want to, when you set up your teams and are piloting this, you want to have each user decide what level of notification they want to receive. The default is basically in the banner, so it's, as you can see, most of these are in banner, so they're not going to intrude into your email. I mean, one of the goals of Microsoft Teams is to reduce the amount of email that we're all exchanging around everyday kind of work operational topics. So you can just get them in the banner, but there may be some that you'd like to know that immediately, if you spend all of your time in email, that you need to get an email to be notified. So notifications are important to configure. And the last thing I'll just show you is we mentioned connectors earlier. You can go into any, I'm in the general channel again of a team, and if I click here on the ellipsis, I get a context menu that shows me connectors. And these are all the currently built-in connectors that are available in Microsoft Teams. I'll just scroll down the list. So again, if you use these external cloud services, you can easily add their content into your team experience. Of course, when you add it, you're going to be required to put in some credentials to authenticate, but then you'll be able to have that content be fed right into your team experience. There's actually quite a few. So I would encourage you, when you do pilot this, to explore that if you've got any external services that you make use of. Okay, with that, I think that does it for the demo portion that we wanted to cover today. Hopefully that was useful to give you a little bit of a flavor of what Microsoft Teams is about. At this point, let's just see if I can switch my presentation back over to Alex's machine.
All right, looks like I've got it.
Thank
Marty,
you.
thanks for that. That was super in-depth and like very informative. I had no idea you could do so much with this new program that's coming out. So just a little bit of a wrap-up here. So we base all of our service offerings around the Microsoft Solutions Framework. So I see some familiar faces, so I know most of you are familiar with that. And if we scoot over to our calls to action today, the most important is that there will be a 10% discount on new Quick Start offers for Microsoft Teams if you're purchased within 30 days of this webinar. We do have a couple of upcoming events. So on Thursday, March 16th, we'll be going over disaster recovery. And then we're bringing back our very successful Office 365 seminar in New Jersey and New York in March and April, or you could follow us into webinar territory for March 8th about workflow automation with Microsoft and Nintex. So just want to thank everybody for being here today. And Marty, thanks so much for your time. Also, feel free and give us a follow on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll be posting this webinar later today, so it'll be accessible, and feel free to share that with your teams. So I wanted to open it up for questions. If we have any, you can use the chat function.